Hello everyone, Fancy here. You're watching Fantavision, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I know I keep saying that, but you know what? Variety is the spice of life. Today I am doing a history and the problems of the phrase of the customer is always right. This idea was sparked by Emilium, who gave me the idea over on Discord. Thank you, good sir. He wanted me to do a Tales from Retail that had to do with customers always right, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper. I wanted to go into the phrase itself, look at the history, because I have always wondered, where did that phrase come from? Who coined that phrase, and what in the world, why is it still a thing? So, let's take a look at that, but before we do, I'm drinking Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, very delicious, very smooth beer, and also, I just want to let you guys know, I'm streaming almost exclusively here on YouTube now. I still occasionally will stream over on Twitch, but I'm streaming usually on Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes Fridays, a lot of the times during the weekend, but I stream now, so come on by. So how did this saying come about? Well, it was first coined by Harry Selfridge in 1909 when he said, "The customer is always right." And he was saying this to his employees because he wanted them to have a good experience. He wanted them to treat the customers with respect. It seems like the origins of this were made in good intentions. However, the first published line of this thinking was actually put out in 1905 by Sears, Roebuck & Co. that wrote, and I quote, "Every one of their thousands of employees are instructed to satisfy the customer regardless of whether the customer is right or wrong." So it sounds like even though Harry got the credit, it sounds like the original idea came 4 years earlier in this published, I think, article, magazine. I'm not sure what it was. This was, again, supposed to be a good thing. This was supposed to be just treat the customer with respect. Even if they're wrong about something, be nice about it. And the thing is this sentiment spread worldwide. This was not just localized here in America. This went everywhere. And the thing is, two countries in particular took this saying a little too far, in my opinion. Let's start with Germany. And get ready for some horrendous pronunciation. And I left in the original languages just because I'm going to torture with it. Der Kunde ist König, which means the customer is king. Did I accidentally do just a little shitty accent in there? I think I did. But it means the customer is king. So not only is the customer always right, the customer is king. Okay, little bit too far. Now, this next one, and I can't believe this is still in practice. This is still said like it's a normal thing. This is from Japan. Okay, now get ready for my pronunciation here. Okiaku-sama wa kami-sama desu, which means the customer is God. The customer is God. Are you kidding me? Do you need... Like, how inflated are the egos of the people that are shopping at these stores? Like, I can't imagine the Karens that are shopping in Japan. They're bad enough here with the customer's always right. And man, I have heard that saying so many times repeated to me by some dumbass customer because they're doing something wrong, or they're saying something completely wrong, or they're trying to break a store policy. "Oh, your customer's always right. You gotta take this back. It says on the receipt we don't take this back for this reason." They go off on this long tangent swearing at you, saying that the customer is always right. And the thing is, like I said, this may have started with good intentions, but it has morphed over the years into this horrible thing that the managers of stores just give the customers whatever they want. They'll break store policy constantly, and customers are more entitled than ever, even in 1914, they were saying that this is not a good sentiment to have. This could have potential to cause problems and make customers entitled. And what do we have here? We have customers in these retail environments being incredibly entitled and looking down on retail workers. Now, while researching this, I found a great article that basically covered the 5 things that I wanted to cover as to why this whole statement is an issue, why this quote needs to stop being the standard. Now let's dive in. I'll go through what they say and how I feel about that, particular statement. So here are the top 5 reasons from the HuffPost as to why the customer is always right is wrong. Number one, it makes employees unhappy. 100%. 100%. You should be thinking about making the employees happy, because then those happy employees will make the customers happy. It's a very simple concept. If the people enjoy their job, they're going to make it a great environment. If you force them to put a smile on because they need to worship the customer as a god, you really think they're going to be happy? I don't think so. And I know they won't be, because I've worked in retail for like 6 years. And that sentiment has never been used in a good way. I've never seen somebody go, I'm really happy that this customer just yelled at me and said that they're always right. I'm really glad that my manager talked down to me and said the customer's always right, even when they're doing the wrong thing. Because the customer is wrong very frequently. So when you've got a happy employee, which I've been to many places where there are happy employees, and it has always made me want to come back. Number two, it gives abrasive customers an unfair advantage. 100%. Like I just said, shitty customers are everywhere. There are so many people that are completely entitled. They see themselves above the retail worker. Even if they don't have a job, even if they're going back to some horrible house and they're not trying to further themselves in life, they will look down on the retail worker just because they can. They're allowed to, because of this sentiment. The customer's always right. They're allowed to shout that in your face as much as they want to try to get what they want. And I just see it time and time again. It's so sad that something that started out as a good idea, as something that's like, let's try to work with people, even if they're wrong, we'll guide them on the right path. Even if the customer doesn't really know what they're talking about, we'll try to help them out. And now it's used as like ammo against store policies and the people that are just upholding the policies because that's their job. Number three, some customers are just bad for business. I agree with this. There are some customers that just need to be told to leave. And I was at a store recently, it's kind of a smaller store, and the guy was talking about how he enjoyed being a manager there because he could just tell people to fuck off. He would not get in trouble from his store managers if there was a problematic customer. He could tell them to fuck off. And sometimes people just need to be told that. Sometimes people need to be brought back to reality. Go, you are a human being just like me, and you do not have the right to treat me or anyone else in the store without respect. Respect everyone, and respect will be given. It should go without saying that if you're a dick, you're going to have some sort of punishment, but in the retail world, they're just rewarded. Like I said when I worked at GameStop, we had people come in. We had this one person come in. He was 18, completely sound mind, traded in a game that he did not want anymore, got something else, and his mom came back demanding we undo the trade. Now, I had been told countless times we cannot undo trades. It's not very easy to do. And that she started calling me a motherfucker, piece of shit, all these different things. So I'm like, get out of my store. Get out. But guess what? Guess who got their game back? The other game for free. And an apology from the manager. So that horrible bitch of a woman is still, like, in her head, she is now enabled with this sense of entitlement that she can say and do whatever she wants to any retail worker at any store. She's going to continue this horrible behavior because instead of being punished like she should have been, she was rewarded for that behavior. Number 4, it results in worse customer service. Like I said, they break it down here with what I said before. Happy employees make happy customers. If you start with the employees and you put them first, they will put their customers first. It's that simple. I mean, I'm even sure you guys have gone to some store or restaurant or anything where there are happy employees and it's almost infectious. They're smiling and have a great time at their job. You're like, I kind of want to work here. I mean, I've had that feeling at a lot of different places, and I want to come back to those places and give them my business because they're treating their employees with respect. And I will respect a place for doing that because I know a lot of places, again, hold to this sentiment where the customer is always right, the customer is king, the customer is God, and they don't treat their employees like even peasants. They just treat them like shit. And I don't want to reward that behavior and keep shopping at those places. I want to shop where the employees are happy. I want to shop where they're taken care of because that's what they deserve. Number 5, some customers are just plain wrong. Now, I'm going to read an extreme example of this that the HuffPost gives, but my examples where they're just blatantly wrong about facts they're trying to give me about a product when I know the facts or they don't believe the facts that I'm giving them, and they just go off and complain to a manager. I have told them that a certain movie was out of stock. I looked it up on all the different systems available and looked around the aisles where it could be. They wouldn't buy that answer. So they went to a manager. They were complete pieces of shit about it. And what happened in the end? I was right, because of course I was, and the customer is not always. Or they'll be coming in to buy a video game when I was working at GameStop, and they'll tell me, oh, this game has this thing in it. And I'm like, well, it actually doesn't. That may have been said earlier, but they took that feature out. And they don't listen to me. Many customers are uninformed or holding some sort of opinion on something and will not let go. They're holding on to old knowledge and will not let go. And there's just a lot of stubborn people in this world that are like that. And instead of holding on to that sentiment as the customer's always right, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me why correcting a customer is the wrong way to go. It just doesn't. You're providing them with better information and you're helping them making a more informed purchase. Okay, so here is the Huff Post. Is this Huffington Post? Is it just Huff Post? So there's several of these. I have no idea. I'm not looking into it. So here's their example from a book called From Worst to First. A continental flight attendant once was offended by a passenger's child wearing a hat with Nazi and KKK emblems on it. It was pretty offensive stuff, so the attendant went to the kid's father and asked him to put away the hat. No, the guy said. My kid can wear what he wants, and I don't care who likes it. The flight attendant went into the cockpit, got the first officer who explained to the passenger that the FAA regulation that makes it a crime to interfere with the duties of a crew member. The hat was causing other passengers and the crew discomfort, and that interfered with the flight attendant's duties. The guy better put away the hat. He did, but he didn't like it. He wrote many nasty letters. We made every effort to explain our policy and the federal air regulations, but he wasn't hearing it. He even showed up in our executive suite to discuss the matter with me. I let him sit out there. I didn't want to see him, and I didn't want to listen to him. He bought a ticket on our airplane, and that means we'll take him where he wants to go. But if he's going to be rude and offensive, he's welcome to fly another airline. The fact is that some customers are just plain wrong, that businesses are better off without them, and the managers siding with unreasonable customers over employees is a very bad idea. That results in worse customer service. 100%. 100%. Because you know that is not going to be a repeat customer. That guy that is causing troubles is not going to be a repeat customer. And if he is, he's going to bring more troubles in the future, he or she. Because they're definitely both that cause problems in stores. I've given examples of both. The guy that's just screaming at me because he doesn't know his own phone number. Like, there's so many examples I can give of just terrible people being terrible because they feel entitled. And if a business is not allowed to push back against these people, they're going to keep coming, and they're going to come in greater numbers. I mean, you could correct these people's behavior and maybe they'll stop. And if they don't, they can shop somewhere else. And it's so weird to see these giant corporations that could easily lose thousands of customers, easily, and not see any dent in their bottom line, but they still just cater to everyone. They cater to the lowest common denominator, even if that customer doesn't deserve to be there. A lot of these customers cause discomfort, like this guy in this story, to other people around them, causing negative interaction with your brand or company. They're going to remember that interaction, and they may not fly on that plane in the future, or they may not come to that store in the future because they've seen what kind of people shop there. There's always that saying that people will pay more to shop at Target to avoid Walmart. That's because of their terrible reputation for these shitty customers they have there. You know, I'm one of those people that will shop literally anywhere. I will go out of my way. I will drive farther away to not shop at Walmart because I don't agree with a lot of their policies. I don't agree with the way they treat employees, and I don't like most of their customers. People, just like any other animal out there, needs to be trained that a certain behavior is not acceptable. If you're instead encouraging them by rewarding them, you're just going to make them worse. And that's what's happened over the years. When they first realized that this sentiment was not good back in 1914, they should have started a new precedent. They should have started a new statement that went against that original one, because that's the one that is stuck, and that's the one that is wrong. So it may have started, like I said, in good intentions, but it has devolved into creating a consumer mass of entitled assholes that will send death threats to voice actors of video games, will shout at people that are just doing their job in the retail environment, and will just generally be nuisances to everyone around them, creating an uncomfortable experience when you're just trying to get some groceries. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys. You know, I have not had one of these in a very long time. I know this was actually one of the first beers that was featured on this channel, like 2018. Oh my God. I've been doing this for like 2 or 3 years now of just consistently uploading on this channel. As you can see, I'm again wearing the tie without, the rest of the getup, because it's like, this isn't really a financial Fanta episode, but it's also more of like I don't know, it's discussing like upper management and store policies. So I don't know. I like wearing the tie for some reason. Like, ties, in my opinion, are probably the stupidest thing on the planet. I mean, think about it. What is the point of this? Like, a shirt makes sense. You're covering yourself, whatever. Pants make sense. Underwear makes sense. Socks. Watches don't really make sense anymore, but they're just kind of cool looking. But ties, like, who thought of the first tie? This is a completely different random rant, but only like 2% of you guys are watching at this point anyway.